Welcome back. Don Pelayo here. I just wanted to touch on the recent things in the news. There's been several big events here recently. We had two plane crashes here in the United States over the last week or so. Very tragic events. It is a little odd that these two accidents happened in the same week. We haven't had too many accidents in some time, and especially a major airliner carrying dozens of passengers. It was the worst uh, aircraft accident here in the United States since 2001. So it was certainly very sad to hear about all the young people on those planes that passed away, and the second flight there in Philadelphia, also a tragedy, just a medical flight, and very odd. I guess we'll be watching the details as they come out. Also, the tariff news. The Trump's tariffs have been implemented against Canada and Mexico and China. A lot of people are nervous about this. Trump is definitely shaking things up a little bit. I think he looks at these tariffs as a tool. I don't think that he looks at this as a long-term solution. I think that he is using the tariffs as a way to start a negotiation. He wants to get to the bargaining table, make deals. That's what he wants to do. And this is his way of getting these other countries to the bargaining table. So I wouldn't be too concerned. Hopefully it won't go on too long. I know that he wants to make deals with all of these countries, especially our neighbors with Canada and Mexico. China is a major trading partner, of course. We get a lot of stuff from China, but at the same time, I think there's some concerns about how China does business, and some of the things they've been doing kind of shake our confidence in them a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't anticipate the tariffs with Canada and Mexico lasting very long. I was out driving last night. I was downtown here in my town, and I saw a big protest out last night. There were a lot of Latinos out protesting, which they seem to be peacefully protesting. I didn't see any violent acts or anything, so I'm okay with them out protesting. I think what they don't understand is that while the United States is a land built on immigrants, the Latinos are just the most recent group of immigrants. In the past, we've had Germans and Italians and Irish, and of course, before that, you had English settlers. We weren't really. I don't know if you could really call us immigrants, because there wasn't really a country here when we came here. So we were more settlers, but some people would argue that, but I actually do have a little bit of Native American in me. My grandfather, I think, was one quarter Cherokee Indian, so I have a tiny smidgen of Native American in me. You can't see it in me. If you saw my grandfather, you could actually see some of the facial features, Native American facial features in him. But so I I don't know. I don't know. I went to live in Spain when I was younger. When I was 19 years old, I went over to Spain to live. In order for me to do that, I not only had to have a US passport, but I had to apply for a Spanish visa. And then once I got to Spain, I had to go to the local police station and file for residency paperwork. And so I had all my documents when I got there, and I had to get, when I was there in Spain, I had to buy tax stamps for the paperwork and go to the police station and file all the paperwork. It was a process, you know. But if I just went to Spain today with my passport, with no visa, no residency paperwork, and I stayed longer than 90 days, and it was discovered that I was there outside over 90 days, I would be deported. They would send me out. So I think that we have allowed this problem to develop. You know, I feel like you know, we have allowed this to go on for too long. Now, American businesses like it because they're getting cheaper labor. Some of these Hispanics, some of the Latinos have started businesses here. They've had children here. Um, Now, you know, Trump's going to try to do away with the rule about, you know, being born in the United States and not being, you know, if you're here the parents were here illegally, the children not being citizens. I think that's going to be a tough. I think that's going to be tough. I don't see the Supreme Court siding with him on that. Um, I think that that would require a constitutional amendment. But we'll see what happens, right? Um, I could be wrong. I'm not a constitutional expert, so that's just my opinion. um, we've got a lot of problems in this country, a lot of problems right now. I was just reading about some new reports that were released this week about the status of the education of our children, and you know, I think it was fourth. I think they looked at fourth graders and eighth graders for this particular study, and the results were not very good. They math scores, you know, math scores were pretty bad. Language scores, English scores were not good either. It was one of the lowest points we've had in the history of these surveys, these reports they're doing. We got a lot of work to do with our young people. I you know, they say a lot of it was the pandemic. I really don't. I think the pandemic could have been part of it. I don't think it's even the majority of it. I think it's the cell phones, the social media, all of this stuff. Our young people are on screens way too much. They need to be reading books. They need to be studying books. They need to be off these, you know, spending maybe an hour or two, maybe, you know, per week doing these online things. And I know that may sound harsh, but I really think that's where the problem is. I think, especially while they're trying to learn, they need to be focused on studying, developing study skills. Um, you know, reading is just so important in terms of developing your vocabulary. Of course, math skills are one of those things that compounds on itself. So if you miss some math, you know, you'll have to catch up in order to be able to do more and more difficult mathematics. So I'm a little bit concerned about our children that way. I was talking to my youngest daughter about that last night. She was looking at you know, we were talking about screen time, and you know, she on the weekends. My youngest daughter, she's 13. She seems like she's a little bit bored right now. I think, you know, I don't. And part of it's that it's winter, you know, and there's not a whole lot to do outside, and kind of stuck indoors, and so that's part of it. And I'm hoping that you know, as spring arrives, you know, she'll get outdoors more and be doing more things actively. But our kids aren't doing real well right now in terms of academics, and we gotta work on that. um, you know, we are in a global competitive environment, and like it or not, you know, we have to compete with the rest of the world in terms of our research, and we do a good job as a nation in terms of our workforce. But I feel like the younger generations are kind of falling behind where the older generations were, and we don't want to see that happen. I think that's the scary part. Anyway, on to other news. I weighed in at my lowest weight since I had surgery back in October this morning. So when I checked in at my highest weight, I was 315 pounds. The day of surgery, I was 298 pounds. They put you on a diet a couple of weeks before surgery, and I got down to 298. And this morning, I was at 238. So I've lost 60 pounds since October 11th when I had surgery. I had gastric bypass October 11th, and things are going pretty well. I actually ate a ribeye today. I had a ribeye steak, which was, it's funny. They told me that beef would be a really hard thing for me to digest, but it seems like I'm doing better with beef than I am chicken. Chicken seems really tough for me to digest, and so I'm going more with beef. It just seems like my stomach handles it better. So we'll just eat steaks, I guess, right? The chicken, it's like I can swallow it and get it down, but once it gets into that stomach pouch, I don't know. I don't know if it's just doesn't chew up as well. Beef is a fattier. I had a ribeye, so those are fattier meats. Chicken breast has very little fat to it. That might be part of it, but anyway, this week is going to be a busy week for me. We have a client coming in, I think Wednesday, and they are it's kind of a complex case, so I've got a lot of work to do this week. One thing I was thinking about, I make decent money right now. It's like I feel pretty comfortable. Well, I can't even say I feel comfortable, but I feel, I don't know. This past year, if you add all my income up, I was 80 to 90,000, somewhere in that range. That's not terrible for a single person. I'm a single guy. When you're single, they tax the living daylights out of you. But I have so many financial goals. It's not even my day-to-day spending, my bills, but it's like I want to get some more life insurance on myself. I want to put more money into my daughter's accounts. I want to put more money in my retirement account. And it's like all these I want to pay my car down a little bit quicker. And it's like, I just don't have the money for it, even at that income level. And it's just, I'm really starting to think a little bit more about where I can make more money. So that's something I'm working on right now. It's just, I feel like I have no choice kind of thing. It's like I've just got to, I got to get out here and find more money somewhere. I'm 48. I'm hoping to retire early to mid 60s. We'll see. We don't have pensions anymore, so it's all Social Security and whatever you have saved. And so I got to get on the stick because I'm behind. I wouldn't be behind, except I spent the first 20 years of my adult years, fiddling around with relationships and marriage and all, and it messed me up a lot. I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. I feel like if I had just stayed single and not worried so much about women, I'd be a lot further along. But it is what it is, right? Live and learn. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I'll report in on more weight progress as it starts coming down. Let's, again, if you have any children in your life, either your own kids, grandkids, uh, nieces, nephews, whatever. Just show them that you care. Show them that you want the best for them. Help them. Um, give them advice. So sometimes they'll listen, sometimes they won't. But explain to them the mistakes that you've made in your life, things that you would have done differently with your life. Give them that advice. They need it. They're going to need it to navigate the world that they're growing up in. Well, this is Don Pelayo checking out.